When you reach the point on your sales funnel where you're selling your higher priced products and services, you're going to be selling smaller numbers, but you're going to be making bigger money. Now, this level comes pretty much the penultimate level to your sales funnel. So people have downloaded your freebie, they've bought your lower priced, mid-priced and high-priced items, and now you're going to offer them something that's quite expensive but is very, very good quality. And two types of products are popular at this level. One is telephone coaching and the other is a masterclass. Now, telephone coaching can be one-on-one, or it can be group calls, or it can be a combination of both. So, for example, you might have a group call where you're speaking to a lot of different people on the call, and then you open up the lines to have Q&A at the end of the call so that people can then ask you questions and everybody can hear the answer. Now, one thing that you want to do beforehand is to send out a questionnaire so that you can tailor the calls to suit the wants and needs of the participants. And then you structure the series of calls so that they follow an agenda and you can guide the participants towards achieving their goals. And something else you can do is you can record the calls and offer the recordings as a bonus. You can offer them for MP3 downloads, etc. Or you can offer this as a downsell to people who don't want to or who can't afford to participate in the calls themselves. Now, you won't sell as many of these as your other cheaper products. So make a virtue out of this by limiting the number of participants and creating scarcity. Now, there are lots of pros and cons to doing telephone coaching, and it's not for every niche. For example, if you're in the fitness niche, doing a telephone conferencing probably isn't going to be a good idea. But for a lot of niches, it is a very good thing to do. But let's just look at some of the pros and cons. Now, the pros. First of all, there's low overheads. It's just whatever it costs to hold the conference calls, and there are various services out there that offer them, and you can also do them via Skype and other methods that way. So there's very little financial outlay. It's just your time and your knowledge. Now let's look at the cons. First of all, it's time intensive. You have to tie yourself down to a specific number of dates and times. So you do have to schedule that into your diary, and that might intrude on other things. Then there are time zone problems, because you're going to have to try and find a time that is acceptable to most of your customers when they're mostly going to be able to get on the call. And that can be difficult because, for example, if you're in a hobby niche, you might want to do the calls in the afternoon after people are home from work, or in the evenings. And let's say you're in New York. Well, it's going to be afternoon or evening there, but it's going to be during working hours in California, and it's going to be during the middle of the night in Europe. So you're going to have problems there getting people to be able to listen in. And finally, you must really know what you're talking about, because you can't fake it when someone asks you a question in Q&A and you don't know the answer, or you just waffle. So you really must know what you're talking about. And if you're not an expert at the subject, then this isn't something that you want to get involved in. Now let's look at some resources that you can use for telephone coaching. Exactly what conference call provider you use is largely going to depend on what country you're in. So my best advice would be to do a search in Google for conference calls, and you'll find there's lots and lots of different providers. And the features and prices vary, so it's a good idea to just simply go through and check them out and see which ones best meet your requirements. You can also do conference calls on Skype. They call them group calls. And of course, these are free and over the internet. And you can read more about it and download the software from skype.com. Now, similar to telephone coaching is holding a masterclass. And this can be approached in a similar way to telephone coaching, except that you deliver everything in one go. Now, like with telephone coaching, you can record the event, but this time on video, and you can offer it as a bonus or as a downsell. And just like over the phone, you can have Q&A afterwards. Now, just like with telephone coaching, there are some pros and cons to doing all this. The pros is, of course, its higher perceived value. People actually get to see you in the flesh. And you can get it all over in one go. And you can hold several of these over the course of a year in different cities or countries. The cons, of course, well, there are much higher overheads. There's the venue costs, you've got travel costs, etc. There's limited capacity, so you need to make sure that you sell all of the places in order to turn a profit. And of course, it's harder to reschedule if something unexpected crops up. But regardless of which one you do, and there are others as well that you can have at this level, once again, you want to make sure that you offer overwhelmingly high value so that you over-deliver so that people feel that they have definitely got their money's worth.